Hey YouTube, how's it going? Mellona back here again with another Epic 7 video, and this one's going to be all about Vivian. This video ended up being a bit too long, me over explaining things, so if you're only here to see the fights, there will be a timestamp on the description below. With Vivian coming around within the next 24 hours, many of you are probably asking whether or not you should pull for Vivian, and the answer would usually be yes. I think Vivian is one of the very few RGB heroes that's almost a must pull since she allows you to do so many PvE one-shot content. But with Cerise and Guiding Light looming in the corner, I think you should be saving up for those, cause Cerise and Guiding Light are OP broken right now, especially Guiding Light. And you want to have as many bookmarks as you can to be able to pull for Guiding Light since you're gonna need multiple copies. But if you think you have enough bookmarks to both pity Vivian and pity Cerise, I'd say go for it. She's definitely worth the investment as she, like I said, opens up a lot of PvE content, and she's actually amazing in PvP as well. Before we can get to talk about her stats, we need to talk about her S3 ability and Dignus Orb. Vivian's skill 3 is a non-attack skill that provides her with greater attack buff, lesser attack buff for the rest of her team, and immunity for everyone all for 3 turns. Dignus Orb, on the other hand, is an artifact that provides your hero with a barrier whenever that unit uses a non-attack skill, and it scales off that unit's current attack. What's important to know here is that Vivian's greater attack buff happens before she gets a shield. So what that means is that when you get a plus 30 Dignus Orb, Vivian gets a shield equal to 210% of her attack. If you don't have Dignus Orb, there really isn't any good substitute for Vivian. Good thing they're running Vivian with Dignus Orb in the coming rotation, and if you want, you can just buy it straight off the shop. So if you already have Vivian and you have 240 powder, just go ahead and buy Dignus Orb. Even on just plus 15, the artifact is just so good on her that it's definitely worth it. Okay, with that out of the way, now we can finally talk about her stats. If you look at my attack and crit damage, it might seem really low, but I kind of like Vivians that are built more bruisery. The best way to describe my Vivian build is a bruiser support and secondary DPS. You're going to need another DPS if you want to bring her in RTA. When you're playing Vivian, you're not actually bringing her for her damage, you're bringing her for her utility. Mostly the immunity, but also the attack buff. For her stat priority, it's going to be speed number 1. You really need to use that S3 as soon as you can. Because 1, it's going to provide your team with immunity, especially those units in your team that do not have immunity stats. And 2, it's going to give you the giant Dignus Orb shield, making her a lot tankier than she actually is. The basic rule is, can you outspeed Rylet? If you can outspeed Rylet, then you've done your job. And if you can't outspeed Rylet, then you just instantly die. The next stat in the priority list is going to be attack, allowing you to do more damage, but also providing you with some more virtual health. Remember, like I said, with a max Dignus Orb, every point of attack is equal to 2.1 HP. The next stat is actually going to be defense. Given the large shield you're getting from Dignus Orb, you want to complement that with more defense. That way she's able to survive longer, potentially use her S3 again. For almost every single fight that Vivian goes through, she is such a high priority target for the opponent that they are almost always forced to focus her. So I really like having a bulky Vivian since my opponent is so busy in trying to kill her that the rest of my team are able to do their job successfully. The last 2 stats are going to be crit damage and health. I wouldn't be worried about these 2 stats since for health, most of your health is actually coming from Dignus Orb. And for crit damage, like I said, she's not built for dealing damage. She's a secondary DPS. Her main role is going to be support bruiser. If you're able to get more crit damage while being able to maintain the amount of speed and bulk that I have to survive a lot of the other units, that's great. Obviously, more crit damage equals more damage. It's just that if your crit damage is low, I wouldn't worry too much about it. You should really focus on your other stats instead, especially speed and attack. And finally, for exclusive equipment, you're going to want a 14% health on the 3rd skill. The reason why I choose the Cleanse EE over the CR Boost EE is because of Cerise. And also, I know I've mentioned this so many times, she's a bruiser support unit, not a main DPS, so bringing a support skill rather than a DPS skill is much more beneficial. Alright, finally onto the first fight. This fight's gonna explain to you why I prefer the cleanse EE over the CR push EE. My opponent does have first pick here, goes ahead and picks Cerise. I pick Basar and FCC. Basar pretty decent to Cerise since Cerise can't stop Basar, and FCC is just a decent neutral pick, allowing me to do whatever the heck I want. He goes ahead and grabs Lilius, which is good, into Basar and S10. Not sure why he picks S10 here. Again, Basar pretty good into S10 too. Yeah, I don't think the S10 was a good pick here, but I go ahead and grab Landy plus Vivian. I do really like this combo. I know it's a lot of green, but the amount of buffs you're getting from Vivian and my Landy, you get attack buff, immunity, and speed buff. It's really strong combo. Also the CR push from the Landy too. I like running this a lot. I just wish they weren't both green. Anyways, my opponent goes ahead and picks double RB, one dark RB and a fire RB, and I don't think the RB here was a good idea since I'm already counting that RB with my FCC, so I just need a second RB counter and ban the Charon. So I go ahead and grab my Sangelica, ban the Charon since I don't have any Charon counters. He bans my Sangelica thinking it's my only RB counter when in fact I have FCC in the field. I feel like my opponent could have easily punished me here. Instead of RB going for another fire DPS, especially Ravi and Charlotte, I would have had to ban that one and let the Charon through, which would have been trouble for me if Basar misses fire. So the fight starts, and obviously Cerise takes first turn. This is like a 300 speed Cerise probably, but honestly I don't really care. She's gonna S3 here, debuffing my team, but she can't stop my Basar from knocking back her entire team. I'm gonna S3 my Basar. I'm gonna miss the Lilius here, I believe, and I think I'm gonna hit everyone else, knock him back, which is pretty good. Lilius is gonna cleanse that stun and unbuffable. Again, I really don't care. I'm restricted though in all my teams, so she can't be able to knock me back. She does her S3, cleanses all the debuffs. And once Vivian gets a turn here, once I S3, I already won. I'm gonna give attack buff and immunity to my entire team. I'm gonna S3 on my Landy. It'll do pretty decent damage. And then I'm gonna finish off that RB with my FCC. This might be a little bit lucky. Yeah, I think the amount of damage my FCC does, I think I end up, oh, I don't even crit here. Yeah, I don't even crit, so I guess that wasn't lucky. I just deal a lot of damage in FCC. And the fact that I have immunity and skill null on my entire team, that Gab does nothing. He can't even blind my team, so even if he has 3, that does nothing aside from remove all my skill null, so she's just gonna S1. Lilius takes a turn here, she can't do anything either. She can't provoke my entire team, because I'm fully immune. She's gonna auto into my Landy. That's pretty good damage from the S10 there. I'm gonna S2 on the Basar. Again, this is why I don't like S10 to Basar. Just stun you and blind you, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And Vivian was a carry 100%, you couldn't do anything else after that. So this next fight is against the one and only Mellona. He was not having a good day when I was filming this. I was just trying to film, I was not trying to fight him, but I really enjoy my fights against Mellona, but this was not his day against me. So I'm gonna shout him out. Shout out to Mellona, he's a new Twitch streamer, go check him out guys. And anyways, he does get first pick here, picks the flurry. I go ahead and answer with Basar Landy. I do know that his flurry is faster than mine, so I'm kind of on the back end here. Landy is just a really good pick, not too many counters. So he goes ahead and picks a Tywin and Alencia, pretty strong pick, strip into the Tywin. He knows that I play Vivian, so I'm already forced to ban this Alencia here. I have to play my Vivian still though, so I grab Cerise and my Vivian since that's my only Tywin answer. He goes ahead and grabs Crow and Ravi. Not fan of the Ravi pick here since I already have Cerise. The Ravi pick is it's pretty good against the Landy and the Vivian, but so long as I'm picking it that either counters that Ravi or is a guaranteed ban, then I'm not too scared of Ravi because I'm gonna have Cerise to control the Ravi. So I go ahead and pick my SBR since he's almost guaranteed to ban that one. If he lets SBR through, I can potentially control and burn his team. So he goes ahead and bans my SBR and I ban his Alencia. So the fight starts off and I actually get turn 1, which is surprising. I thought his flurry was faster. I guess I'm wrong about our speeds, or maybe I got speed RNG. So I'm gonna S3 on my Basar here. I do hit fire and I do end up stunning this Ravi. But what's I actually rather would have knocked back the flurry than stunned the Ravi here. The fact that I didn't knock back the flurry means that my Vivian's gonna get controlled, which is really unfortunate. Good thing I stunned the Ravi, but I would have preferred to knock back that flurry. That way I don't get taunted on my Vivian here, because the larger threat right now for me is this A Tywin. If this A Tywin can get a turn and stun and slow my entire team, I would be really screwed, because my entire team's strategy is to S3 with Landy, get speed buff, S3 with Cerise, slow down their entire team, and just cycle over and over again with my control plus DPS. That was my plan, but the fact that my Vivian's controlled now, I don't have immunity, and I still need to I need to worry about this A Tywin. I made a mistake here. I should have S2'd. I forgot that A Tywin hasn't taken a turn yet. I thought the A Tywin S2 was ready, and I made a even bigger mistake of S1ing the Ravi. I should have S2'd, because then I would have blinded that crowd potentially, and this was a guaranteed miss on my Vivian, which is his biggest threat right now. And that's the power of Vivian. Whenever you bring Vivian in the right comps, she's such a huge threat that your opponent is so busy attacking her. I get lucky here and miss. I wasn't punished for my humongous misplay. Yeah, the miss was lucky, I'm not gonna lie. So then Landy takes a turn here. I'm gonna S1. I think I S1 the flurry here, because Crowd's a dead unit. He already S3'd. I don't want to hit the Ravi, because I don't want to get countered, and I don't want to hit the A Tywin, so I'm just gonna slowly kill this flurry. I do get a confile proc, again lucky, and finally once I S3 in my Vivian here, I think I already won, especially since Crow already S3'd. That A Tywin's not gonna be useful anymore. I end up getting a double stun, but those things don't really matter. I don't think once Vivian S3'd, I think I won. Oh, this is a bug in the emulator, by the way, or something's wrong with the emulator every time you land the S3. Not much I can do about that. But I'm gonna slow burn my Landy. I hit fire, I crit fire again. Deal pretty decent damage. Gonna try to finish this Ravi, because she's the only threat left. I'm gonna S1 the Ravi again. And was that confile? I don't even know. But like I said, once my Vivian got a turn, it was pretty much over. This thing's actually really strong, giving attack buff, speed down. Like, that is so cancer, with Basara procking shit, a lot of stuns. Yeah, I'm gonna go to finish this Tywin. Yeah, it's pretty fun team. Pretty cancerous though, but hey, it's fun for me. You know what I mean? Alright, this last fight is gonna be against Water Tenny. That unit is stupid. It's just, there's no hard counter to Water Tenny. I could draft an entire team that counters Water Tenny and she can still pop off, and that's just absurd. So I do get first pick here, since he went ahead and bans my Bazaar. I did ban his Flick Out, by the way. I grabbed my Cerise just because it's a fairly strong unit, right? Cerise is Cerise, and since I don't have Bazaar, I need a speed contester, so I do pick my Cerise. He goes ahead and grabs the FCC Water Tenny combo. Pretty strong combo, because FCC counters Water Tenny, and FCC pretty good with Water Tenny, so you're removing the potential counter from your opponent while having some form of taunt synergy. My answer to Water Tenny right now is SSB Rwana. It doesn't work all the time, it works sometimes. I just hate that unit. So much RNG that it's just frustrating. So my opponent goes ahead and grabs SNE and RB, just two dark units, pretty solid. Probably not good to pick SNE into SSB though, I'm not sure about that one. So I go ahead and grab two more Water Tenny counters, by the way, A Tywin and my Vivian. Vivian pretty good into Water Tenny, since she can potentially dodge the Water Tenny strip and debuffs, so that's a 50-50, and if it goes through, hopefully A Tywin can dispel the taunt. That way I can S3 on my Vivian and dispel the other debuffs. It's just I don't know, I know I sound like so whiny here, but I really hate that unit. I just really hate that unit. I end up just I started just pre-banning Water Tenny because how frustrating she is. He goes ahead and picks Elena. Not sure why he picks Elena here, to be honest. I feel like he was hovering over LR Crow. That one I was scared of. So since he didn't go LR Crow, I was gonna ban LR Crow if he went LR Crow, but since he went Elena, I just go ahead and ban the RB. and he bans my Cerise. So the reason why he banned Cerise there is because he didn't have immunity in a Tenebria and he didn't want my Cerise to stun her. He soul burns his water Tenny hoping to proc my passive on my Tywin, but fails and then go ahead and S3s. Fortunately, she misses my Vivian, so my Vivian was not provoked. I'm gonna S3 on my Vivian here, cleanse my entire team, and provide immunity. And I think from here on, I already won. It's really frustrating though how if that water Tenny hit my Vivian, and if it was the unbuffable or the stun from her crown that was getting dispelled, my Vivian was in a lot of trouble. My Vivian was getting provoked and my SSB was stunned, and I was going to be sitting there while his entire team just slowly kills me. I'm all about countering my opponents in the draft phase. I think that's where most of the fun in RTA is. But the fact that that one, I have 4 units that counter Water Tenny, and the fact that she has a chance to pop off and win the entire game, really frustrating for me. I ended up banning her completely. She's gonna S3 in Mellona here. I'm gonna stop crying. I'm gonna stop crying and S3 on the FCC, but I already won, and I think my opponent knows this, and yeah, he just gives up from here. And that's the end of my showcase video for Vivian. My final thoughts on Vivian is that she's really good right now with the current bruisery control-ish meta running around, providing your team with immunity. She pairs so well with Landy, she gives Landy attack buff, which is great on Landy, and Landy gives Vivian speed buff plus CR boost, which is great on Vivian. They just complement each other really well, but double green, it kind of sucks. I'm gonna make a Landy showcase next time. I do think this is the only build that's viable for Vivian. I don't think a squishy DPS Vivian is good enough, just because there are better units that can fill that role. And I don't think a slow Vivian is good enough either, since you really need that immunity ASAP. I know I briefly talk about Vivian being really good in PvE, but since my YouTube channel is solely focused on RTA, I'm gonna go ahead and give the spotlight to my fellow E7 content creators, since they're probably better at explaining PvE Vivian more than I will. So once they're finished with that, there will be links in the description below linking you to PvE Vivian and why she's amazing in one-shot teams. Anyways, I had a lot of fun making this. Hope you guys did too. This was a lot of work though, so if you guys can help me out, hit that like and subscribe button, maybe write a comment, maybe follow me on Twitch and watch me play in real time sometimes. But anyways, this is Mellona. I'll see you next time. Peace out.